All you lovely people getting ready to have some fun with the lore reloaded. While I'm waiting for people to come in and for us to get this party started, don't forget, if you're watching this on demand, to check me out at twitter.com/reloaded. Of course, you can go to facebook.com/reloaded, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. Now today is going to be kind of relaxed. It's still going to be an official show, but we're just going to kind of hang out while I sit here and try to put this together. I'm going to be doing tomorrow's video where we're going to be discussing a war between Starfleet and the Romulans. What's going on, Velita Petra? What's going on, Davey MLJ, 14 Kalium in the house, Ragmar Varelian? Let me know how sound goes, guys, if anything's going on with that. But yeah, so you guys wanted to do some more behind the scenes. You wanted to do some more hanging out, so I figured that we would get that sound goes, guys, if anything's going on. All right, so Starfleet versus the Federation. Asgard reporting in. All right, so let me ask you this right off the bat. Who do you guys think would win between Starfleet and the Romulan post-Dominion War? What are your guys' thoughts when it comes to that specifically? I'm leaning towards Federation. I think Starfleet's, even though in my series I talk about how the Romulans are pretty tough, they're in a good position, I still think that ultimately the Federation would win, just because now they're set up and ready for war. And I think it's pretty obvious. Can Starfleet use cloak? I'd assume after the Romulans attack, yeah, they would be able to use the quote-unquote cloak. But here's how I'm going to put it together. So I'm going to do post-Dominion War, right? So it has to at least be 1 year past when the Dominion War occurred. And there's a couple of things that I try to look for when I'm looking at that. First is that I don't want to get into... I want it to be as fair as possible, and I want to... well, as fair as possible. I want it to be without as many extreme integers as I can prevent. So, for instance, I want it to be post-Dominion War, but I don't want it to be when Romulus was blown up. I also don't want it to be with the Scimitar. So I need to take a look at a couple of things. So when did the Dominion War end? Which ended in 2375, right? And then after that, we have to take a look, because a lot of people bring up Janeway, so I have to find out when Janeway returned. So Janeway returned in 2378, so I don't have to worry about that. And then Romulus blows up in... when does Romulus blow up? 2387. So really, I set it for 2376, and we're good. Then I don't have to worry about the two different governments with Romulus. I don't have to worry about any of all of that stuff. Could we expect the Klingons and the Romulans? Yes, we can, ultimately in the future. The Romulans are in a better position, but the Federation's set for war. The question is, does Shinzon's rebellion still happen? At this point, Shinzon's rebellion hasn't occurred yet. Shinzon may actually still be fighting for the Romulans. That's something that I'm going to leave in, because we know Shinzon did in fact fight during the Dominion War. Shinzon's who I think it is, right? Yeah, that is. I give it to the Romulans due to the fact that they have better ships in terms of tactical systems, and they have experiences in military operations. So here's what we're going to look at. So here's what I'm going to be breaking it down. At this point, I think that I'm with you guys on here. We're just going to do the ships and everything, and that's kind of why I was putting it together, because now that I have a stardate 2367, I can start doing the assets for the ships themselves. And I was trying to see what kind of ships. They wouldn't have the Scimitar. The Scimitar isn't there yet. And that's one thing, because the Scimitar, to me, is a Mary Sue ship, and I don't think that it would be fair to include it. And so here's where I got it set up, like you said. So why are they going to fight? After the war, for whatever reason, the Romulans discover what Cisco did. Kind of ties into what I did this week, though I didn't even mean for it to happen that way, but it's kind of cool that it did. So I'm going to find every ship that was created pre-2367, which is why I have Astra Sentia up. I also really enjoy Memory Alpha, even though sometimes they have issues. Well, we know the Feds haven't recovered from the war yet by this time. Even with the Dominion War, the Fed was still doing things like trying to bring the Voyager home in exploration. They never fought a total war. All right. So yeah, so we have the Dideridex as well as the Valdor. By the way, guys, let me know if you guys enjoy this. If you like me hanging out, breaking this stuff down, great. If you don't, I can always just do it on my own. There's the Valdor. The Scorpion. Bremen ships. The fighter appears in Star Trek Nemesis. Nope. Scimitar. Nope. So yeah. A true Rami will tip thinner. So let's break it down to, you know, it's interesting because there's a couple of things I want to do in this battle breakdown, because I'm always trying to do, I would love to have very in-depth videos, but I have to put, I can't just do like overload on information, and I hate doing like 6 parts, like part 6. What's up, Old Fire? How you doing? So when it comes to intelligence, like espionage, things like that, I honestly would give it to the Federation, because while we do know that the Tal Shiar is still there, we know that there's a mole in the Tal Shiar. We also know Section 31 has a grasp in them, and there's still, even though it's been, what, 4 or 5 years? Well, how long was the Dominion War? Dominion War was... Dominion War was 3, 4, 5, 2 years. Tal Shiar attacked the Dominion 2 years before that. So it's been 4 years. The Tal Shiar have been rebuilding for 4 years. We know that there's a mole from Section 31 within them, and Section 31 basically has a lot of its fingers into everything at this point. So I'd give the intelligence to it to the Federation. Military, I know a lot of people are saying they're stout. I was trying to look up like a disruptor versus a phaser. There's not any good information on that I could find, at least. So I honestly, because we know that in the Next Generation, a Dideridex was better than a Galaxy class. I challenge anybody to find somewhere that says it's not, that's alpha canon. Or at least it was the match of a Galaxy class. So I don't really see them doing a lot with the Dideridex during the Dominion War. It doesn't seem like they improved all that much. So I'd say with the Sovereign, Defiant, and Acura class ships, from that standpoint, militarily, we have Federation being on par or stronger. The Prometheus would be in the prototype phase, so would that be accelerated due to the looming threat? We'll have to see. That's a good idea. I remember thinking that. We'll look up when the Prometheus was created. Let's look that up. In terms of strength, though, I would give it to the Romulans, as they took the least. Now, that's true. That's something to consider. Again, a lot of this is guesswork. It really is, if we're being honest. But when... and I'm sorry, guys. I know that's really... The clicking is horrible when I do that. So the Prometheus-class ship was active in 2374. So yeah, the Prometheus would be there. And it would be past the prototype stage at this point, I think. In late 2373, the vessel was also equipped with holographic projectors. Yeah, so we'll have to include that one. While the Romulans took the less, so they would be the biggest threat to the Federation, but I think the Federation did come out stronger ultimately, because again, they have all these ships basically made for war. Every ship they've made, even if you consider like the Intrepid class ship, that's a quote-unquote science ship, but it's a combat ship to the nines as well, right? So I really think that they would be like on even terms. Maybe slightly Romulan, but honestly, I think the Federation. Now, the one thing to... I love the clicking. Yeah, I know, it's annoying. I'm sorry, guys. The one thing to consider as well on this is that the Federation would have its ships, a lot of its forces would be near Bajor, would be near would be near the Cardassian border, which is on the other side of the map if we're assuming that Star Charts is accurate, which at this point I am assuming Star Charts is accurate. Old Firemaster says losses also depend on the fleet sizes before the Dominion War. The Federation has a much larger population, but the Romulans have always been more materialistic. Power. True. Alright, so... And by the way, guys, if you're watching this, don't forget to hit that like. Like it up. I got 20 people watching. Swarm Dodera Dexes with Defiant-class ships. What do you think of Star Trek Hidden Frontier USS Phoenix, late Dominion War class war with tactical nebula pod and Miranda mega phaser torpedo roll bar? I think that would rock. Does Starfleet still have that Tetryon grid to detect cloaked ships? So they would still have the ability to detect cloaked ships. I don't think that they'd be able to instantly. That would be the one saving grace for the Romulans, in my opinion, is the fact that they have those, they have their cloaks, and that the Federation can't instantly detect the cloaks themselves. So let's start doing ships while I'm sitting here talking to you guys. Let's see. Let me do it over here. All right. So Mr. Peter says, I don't think the Fed came out stronger. They were dragging 100-year-old ships out of mothballs. Yeah, but they also were updating those to the 9s, first off. A Dominion War variant Miranda class, a Dominion War variant Excelsior class were pretty tough. If you remember, the Excelsior class at least did a dent to the Defiant, so it's not like it's not something that's worthy of fighting, right? So we know the Dodera decks for sure. So let's look at the Dodera decks. Okay, I love Sentia, I really do, but sometimes the way they do their website can be confusing for me. Let's see. Let's just do it this way. Dodera Dex class. There we are. And then we will pull this down here. Dodera Dex. Looks like they had... Where are the armaments on this thing? By the way, if you guys want to look it up, you can help me out too. I always try to bump this up against something. Tactical. The primary directed energy weapons array of a warbird was located in its head. Disruptor bay, capable of... 3 additional weapon arrays were located, 1 each. I thought they had more than that, though. Okay. Let's do this. Where did I put you guys? Oh, you're right here. Oot. Did Starfleet, after the Dominion War, fix the structural weakness in the Galaxy Star Drive section that gave both the Enterprise D and the Odyssey? No, they never fixed. That's the one thing about it. They never fix their ships. That's the one thing I liked in Discovery, where Harry Mudd, he would say, man, there's so many ways to destroy this ship. It's almost a structural, it's almost, what do you say? It's almost a built-in flaw. It was just wonderful. Did Starfleet, Miranda class was still pretty weak after the tactical upgrades? I don't disagree with that. I don't think the Akira class was weak, nor the Defiant, nor the Sovereign, which they would have. All right. Now, if I need to mute this, let me know, because if the beeping is just going to get, or the typing is just going to get on y'all's nerves, let me know. Dodera Dex class starship. So we had the Dodera Dex. We also had Akira is the best. I love the Akira. I don't think the Romulans have the industrial capacity. That's another thing that I thought about too. The Romulans, the thing about the Federation, even if they don't have the ships there, or the powerful ships, they do have the ability just to rebuild, especially against an Alpha Quadrant power. It was a little bit of a problem against the Dominion, because the Dominion were able to just pump ships out like it's nothing. But the Alpha Quadrant power is just insane. On Miranda, do you want weapon or shields? Not right now. I'll ask for it in a second. Right now I'm doing the Dodera Dex class. I enjoy doing this. I mean, I don't hate doing this with you guys, or I don't hate doing lore crafting, but it is, honest to God, just a lot of, this is my opinion. When I made the channel, I didn't want it to be necessarily fan fiction. I wasn't against, doing that, just discussing it and whatnot, but I kind of wanted to try to keep a good place, a repository, where we could have a conversation about what is in canon. But doing this is ultimately just, hey, this is what I think would happen, right? If someone could look up the tactical systems of the Dodera decks, because for some reason this is not giving it to me. I thought that I found it somewhere, and I thought it was here. Let me look on Memory Alpha, because I want to say the Dodera decks had 9 disruptors, but this is not telling me anything. I was looking. Fix this though. Romulan Star Empire. What's going on, Patrick? Everyone is doing well. How you doing? Nine plus plasma torps. Where'd you find that, Valletta? Apparently Romulan warp drives are slower than most Federation equivalents. That's something to consider. Plus, the longer any war went on. So here's my thoughts on the war between them. I don't think immediately after the Dominion War that they would go all out on each other. I simply don't think that seems reasonable given how fatigued they would be. This, in my opinion, would be a border war between the two. I think that makes more sense. Now, I'm open for you guys disagreeing with me on that. If you want to try to convince me that it would not be a border war, that it would be an all-out war, I mean, we can have that discussion, but I just don't think either side would have their hearts in a full-on war. I'm going to mute this for a second while you guys respond so I can also input the information here and you don't hear a bunch of clicking. So it'll just be a second. And we're back. Let's see, at least 4 main Direpser, 1 each arc, at least 2 Alpha, Stovocore, they just outsmart you. I never said otherwise. What if a Defiant class was to have Type 12 phasers like a Sovereign class? Isn't the Type 12 phasers post-Nemesis? I think they're still at Type 10, aren't they? I'll be honest, this was in my recommended. I've only ever had a passing interest in Star Trek, so I'm assuming by the name to the channel there is plenty of info to fill me in. Hey, Patrick, so this is me actually just hanging out. I'm doing a video tomorrow about the Romulans versus Starfleet in an epic war. The channel itself is actually based on lore or mythos of sci-fi. I'm known for my Star Trek, but I also do like Battlestar Galactica, really anything that's sci-fi. This is us just hanging out, though. So if this isn't your cup of tea, I hate that this was the one for you to get sponsored on. But yeah, if you like the channel, take a look at my other stuff. If you're not big into Trek, you should take a look at my Battlestar Galactica. And if it's not the channel for you, it's not the channel for you. Thanks for stopping by, at least. Type 11 and 12 was originally for planetary defense. I know you don't like to chat about non-canon, but one of the books talked about the RF war that happened after, found out about the Cisco to bring... It's not that I don't like talking about non-canon. I generally don't include non-canon in most of my work. I'm starting to do that now because people really want it. But originally, it wasn't my intention, simply because the thought was to do alpha canon. But a lot of people want me to do elsewise, so I'm going to start doing elsewise. Okay, so we got the Dodera decks. Let's move on to the Valdor. Yeah, I know. I'm still watching Stargate. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm sorry. It's going to take me longer because I'm not going to sit and give you guys a product that I am embarrassed of. I am embarrassed of that Stargate video. But I firmly believe that I'm not going to take it down. I've only ever taken one video down. I'm not going to take that one down. And I need to spell Dex correctly, or people are going to have to redo this entire thing. Dare. It's not Dare Odex, it's Dare Odex. Let's see. Valdor class starship. It's a shame we didn't see the Valdor in the Dominion War, because it looks like that would have been around. Yeah, I know. I spelled it wrong. Dex. Did you know that Section 31, before the Federation was founded, there are 2 Star Trek Enterprise episodes section is in? Jason Kier, I in fact did know that. I have done a video on Section 31 talking about how it existed before that. So if you haven't seen it, you should go to my Dominion War Section 31. I'm actually going to do another series that does a complete breakdown of the organizations, not like a before the Federation, not during a Dominion War, but overall, this is what it is. And I'm looking forward to the Section 31. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, the Valdor taps assisted the USS Enterprise E. Of course it did. I bet since it's such a new one, there's not going to be a lot of information on it. I'll bet you $1,000 because that's the way it works. They usually make ships. In the movies, I've found they make ships and don't worry about actually talking about what it is. Or what it has, or what it does, or how it helps out. Because that would just make sense. I mean, why on God's green earth would we just break it completely down for nerds like me who make a living doing this, right? Yeah, if you guys can look it up and see if you can find any information on the Valdor, it doesn't look like there's a ton of it right now. Bet Valdor was a prototype. Valdor was awesome. Pity you only get to see them in the Nemesis for 2 minutes. And they get destroyed. David Spivak, I like that you like my... I like that. I love that you love my videos. Thank you, sir. The Dex would be slower at sublight speed, so couldn't a few Defiance, Miranda's, Prometheus. Yeah, the other thing is, and this is a weakness in the writing and budgetary concerns, and I get it, but it's funny how like the Federation will have these massive different amounts of ships, but the Romulans will only have like 3 different types of ships, and the Dominion will only have 3 different types. Now I get it, that's because of money and everything, but still. Prometheus versus Scimitar in an epic battle, awesome deadly combat. I think the Prometheus would get just absolutely destroyed by the Scimitar. Sweet, I'm on Dance because Patrick is a new subscriber. Got my new subscriber dance going on. All right, so no information on the Valdor class ship. Would you ever consider doing a video on the original Planet of the Apes movies and the TV series? I tell you what, why don't you put, once this goes live, put it in the comments and I'll put it in the hopper. I have never considered that, but when people comment and they put what they'd like me to do, I always put it in a list of things to finish up and do at a later time. So Valdor class starship. Let's see. Let's see if Memory Beta. I'm not the hugest fan of Memory Beta because they go out of their way to talk about how they're not canon, but I guess that's what I gotta go with. I mean, I like Memory Beta, don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome. I think it's as good as Memory Alpha, but for what I'm looking for, nope, nothing in Memory Beta. Nothing there either. Memory Gamma, I vaguely remember. Valdor Heavy Warbird. Let's see what Star Trek Online has put on them. By the way, guys, if you're watching this and you really want to support the channel, I have partnered up with Star Trek Online for a cross promotion we're doing on Sunday. Even if you don't like playing the game, if you like the channel and you want to support the channel, please come out on Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time and just hang out. If you do like the game, I have my own fleet. We're doing fleet events, and I'm doing a ton of giveaways that day. So just something to consider. You know, if you don't, it's not going to hurt my feelings, but could still. Valdor, a refit of the Mogai, has a noticeable curved. What type of weapons does this thing have? Plus 10 weapons powers, plus 5 engine powers. Huh. Can't go with that. In beta, it was called the Mogai. It's also because the RSC are paranoid as F and hide most of the prototype ships by the hundreds. Why is there so much open space or empty space between the upper and lower wings? My handle on STO is Lore Reloaded at Lisoyo, for those who are interested. Alright, so let's do this. Here's what we're going to do. This is what we call cheating, folks. Now, by the way, I'm not going to finish it or do any of my scripting here, but if you're ever with me and hanging out and you see me put this together, you still got to watch the video tomorrow. That's the deal we make. If I notice that you guys aren't watching the videos while I'm doing the behind the scenes, I'm just not going to do the behind the scenes because I do this to be watched. With a wingspan roughly 900 meters wide, the vessel featured a large section. No, I don't need that. Featured several forward mounted. Frustrating. All right. Whoa, where am I? Where'd I go? There's the Dodera Dex. 04, 05, there it is. Alright, you're about to hear some typing. Trigger warning. All right. So there we go. We got Valdor. Now, love that clicking. Sounds very 90s. Thank you. Makes me feel good when you guys point that out. No, Losoyo. Lore Reloaded at Losoyo. All right, so we have the Valdor. We have the Dodera Dex. Both of those make sense. Where else would we go? Damn, listen to those switches. Those switches. Alright, listen to those switches. The other ships, the Dodera Dex is the mainstay, but we got to include other ships that would be there, right? Because we want to be as fair as we can, as possible. So, where is it? Is it right here? It's not. What do I do with that page? All right, Romulan ships. So let me know what you guys think, but I think those two ships would be there for sure. They would probably also have, they wouldn't have the Bird of Prey, they wouldn't have the DS7, those are way too old. Drone would be way too old. Early Bird of Prey would be way too old. I don't think they'd have mines. I think they would have the Scout and the Science ship, though. Scout ship. So Scout ship and Warp Shuttle. What about a TOS Constitution class versus the Dodera Dex? Man, the TOS Constitution class would get absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. I don't know what y'all are talking about. All right. Let's see. Da-da-da. Romulan Scout ship. Alright, here we go. The scout ship. Defenses. Deflector shield. It had weapons, though, didn't it? Let's see. The Romulan scout ship had the familiar bird of prey appearance. A pointed nose section. Pair of wings. Huh. This one does it not have the Lenora class? The Lenora class was a type of Romulan vessel in service of the Romulan Star Empire. This is memory beta, though. Armament. One disruptor or plasma, one plasma. Did we ever see the scout class in any of the series have a weapon? What about the Type A Romulan Warbird? I'll take a look at that. Because I could have swore. I'll lean more towards Patton, make the other poor SOB die for his country. I could have swore that they did, but I mean, if they don't, they wouldn't use the scout ships. Well, the Romulans, I always thought, was... they used their cloaking devices really well during the battles, and yeah, they would use overwhelming odds. I mean, it's almost similar to what you see the Klingons do in Discovery, which is they get a bunch of ships, uncloak, destroy, and cloak back. They were very effective in fighting when it comes to the use of their cloaking ships. It has self-destruct. Well, then there we go. Okay, so if it doesn't have offensive, they're not going to use it. So we're not going to do that. The shuttle, the Romulan shuttle, is about the size of Federation. It possesses a cloaking device. We got the Valdor. Apparently there was a brown variant of the Valdor. The Riemann Scorpion fighter is a small craft. When did the Scorpion fighter come in? Let's see. Riemann Scorpion type. Riemann Scorpion fighter. Scorpion class. That was done in 2379. What did we say, gents? 2375. The star date was 2376. So I guess that's it for the Romulans. The Romulans, I would have thought, would have had more to their name than that. Huh. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, if you guys enjoy this, then I don't mind doing it, but this is how I put this stuff together, and I talk to myself like this too. I'm sure I look like a crazy person as I do all of this. The Scorpion fighter is in Star Trek Online. I'm not a big fan on the Romulan fighter. The Malek class is about the size of the Akira class. The Romulans don't fight if they think they could lose, hence waiting in ambush with superior numbers. That's absolutely true. Wasn't the Scimitar and Scorpion class technically Riemann? They were, but as we see in the Dominion War, the Riemanns, including Shinzon, fought for the Romulans. In fact, when in Deep Space Nine, when they talk about the Romulans attacking the 10, I think, what was it? It was 8 to 10 bases along their border when the Romulans entered the war. That was Shinzon. All right, so we got those. Now, let's see. What kind of weapons are we going with, my peoples? So, I got to go to Lore Reloaded. I got to go to Battles. I got too much stuff here. Battles. Battle. There it is. Battles. Star Trek. I thought I had a weapons. Yeah, weapons. All right. I have disruptor cannons, which is what they had. So they had disruptor cannons, they had photon torpedoes, and they had cloaks. Be careful with memory beta. My last computer got a virus from that site. Oh, wow. Let's see. Look at my photon torpedoes. Yeah. I looked up Thalaron radiation. Thalaron radiation was something I was going to look at as well, but that was specific to the Remans. It didn't look like the Romulans were working on it, but it didn't look like they had perfected it like the Remans had. And if the Remans hadn't used it during the Dominion War, and we have no reason to believe that they did, then they wouldn't have it at this point. It makes more sense that it was perfected when we saw the coup occur on Romulus itself. So there wouldn't be Thalian radiation. I would love a Trek series that would concentrate on the Romulans and Klingons that barely mention the Federation. That'd be hard to do since everything is around the Federation. I could take a look at trying, but that would be very tough, I think. Because I don't bring up the United Earth or the Federation in my Before the Federation series just because I want to. I do it because it's what's in the canon. It's all focused around United Earth, which makes sense since, you know, we're all humans. So they had disruptor arrays, they had phasers, they had photon torpedo launchers, and they had primary disruptor array. That still surprises me they had phasers, but they did. They actually used phasers in the Next Generation. I went back and saw it for myself. Alright, do I have disruptor arrays? Because if not, I'm going to need that as well. Phaser emitters, photon, quantum, Klingon photon torpedoes, Federation phaser cannons, disruptor cannons, cloak, but no disruptor arrays. I'm gonna have to do a disruptor array, gents. They does not look like they had plasma torpedoes. Stovokor says, sorry, I meant a TV series. Yeah, that would be interesting. But I don't know that people would watch it. People like humans, like being humans. They have French chick. Hayner, I'm gonna have to ban you. Let's see. Phasers, while we specifically see them with the Federation a lot, apparently were basically anybody could get phasers. It's not like disruptors or anything like that. Anybody could have phasers. They were apparently made on the cheap. So as an outsider, how much war/fighting is there in Star Trek? Depends on what series you're watching, Patrick. In the original series, there was a fair amount. The Next Generation, you didn't have it as much. The Dominion, Deep Space Nine, was very, very battle-oriented. But, I mean, again, it depends on what you would define as a lot, too. If you like that kind of thing, if you are brand new and you want something with a lot of combat, I would suggest watching Deep Space Nine, possibly Discovery. If you wanted something that didn't have that much fighting, that was more centered on around the people or around exploration, I would go the Next Generation. If you want something in the middle, I would go the original series. Voyager is kind of a mix too. The first 3 seasons did still have its fair share of combat, in my opinion. Alright, so I need to do phaser arrays. What am I going to do? Phaser arrays. Not phaser arrays, disruptor arrays. Let's see. Klingons had disruptors too, so I'm not going to make this Romulan... I can't do it that way. I'll have to use this one. Yeah, Patrick. So what I would suggest, now, a lot of people are going to tell you to do Season 4 onwards, and you're actually seeing that already. I would suggest starting at Season 1. Season 1 through Season 3 are the weakest of Deep Space Nine, and they have the least amount of combat, but it really builds the characters for you so that when they get into combat in Season 4, you really care about what's going on. So I would suggest still starting at Season 1 and just sloshing through it if that's not your thing, because they really do make you care about the characters. That's really good on character building. And then when you get into the battle Season 4, these are people you care about, what happened to them matters, and then you're off to the races. So I would definitely still watch season 1 through 3, even if they're not as centric on war. All right, let's learn about disruptor race, shall we, gents? Disruptor is the designation of several types of weapon in common used among many races in the galaxy. Apparently the Borg use disruptors. Elysian destroyer starships were armed with disruptor weapon systems that had a capacity of 2.1 megajoules, which apparently is far less than a Cardassian handheld disruptor rifle, which is 4.7 megajoules. The more you know. All right. DS9 puts all track. Lore Reloaded. Have you accounted for the differences between standard phasers and pulse phasers? I am, in fact, differentiating between those. DS9 puts all track iterations to shame. Now, I'll tell you, this is going to be unpopular, and I'm probably going to lose a lot of subscribers when I say what I'm about to say, and then I'm going to start tapping here and lose even more subscribers. But I think that Discovery does, when you see the battles in Discovery, they're done very, very well. It's just a shame we don't have more of them, especially with Lorca. Man, that guy absolutely knows what he's talking about. Let's see. If I click on this... Nope, not you. If I click on Romulans, then I go to Disruptor, then I get something loud in my ears that you guys probably heard too. Alright, there we go. We got it. Haha, try and find some stats on the phase cannon on the Enterprise E from TNG, all good things. Dude, there's no stats for these. There's no alpha cannon stats for any of this. At all. Is this a fight sim you're setting up? No, Tim. This is, what I'm doing is I'm doing a Lorecraft tomorrow, kind of like the Dominion versus the Borg, but this is going to be the Romulans versus Starfleet, 1 year after the Dominion War. And this is, I mean, I take a lot. I put a lot into this stuff. I think a lot about it. I go out of my way to try to be as accurate as I can, and I try to make it look as good as it can as well. I mean, you'd be surprised the amount of time I put into this. I mean, literally more than 40 hours, easy. And this is just for one video. Cat, will you get out of my way, please? Thank you. Appreciate that. But you really don't care much about Discovery and her crew. You hardly know the characters, and they all tend to be annoying, whiny types. I love Lorca. Saru's pretty good. I like Stamets. I even like Tilly. But yeah, you don't know a lot. What happened to the chick with the Daft Punk helmet? I guess she... I don't know. I don't know. Alright, let's see. Poor cat. He gets to sit there and sleep. He gets free food. He gets to hunt animals all the time that he wants. He gets treats all the time. Doesn't have to worry about money or paying bills or anything. He just has it horrible. I hate it for him, man. I absolutely hate it for him. Is your cat on your headrest? No, he's right there. Yeah. If you guys aren't on my Twitter, you should check me out at twitter.com/reloaded. I'll actually take pictures. I got 2 cats. I got this one, and then I got a kitten. And anytime I'm working, one of them's behind me. Alright, so I guess, so here's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to try to start rendering this, and depending on how long it takes, I may stay on and hang out with you guys. It may also cause my computer to crash, so we're about to have a fun time. Hey Lore, now that I think about it, aren't the Fed Starfleet ships that have any armor are the Defiant and Voyager in the last episode? Defiant has good armor on it. Akira class has good armor on it, but beyond that, I think Voyager has more armor on it, but the Federation isn't known for armor. The Federation they make shields strong for the type. I mean, the shields are there, but once you're past shields, that's all she wrote. Yeah, they both of them like laying behind me and hanging out with me. But yeah, lower. What's that? Lower first. That is the Dodera Dex. Star Trek. Nope. I gotta go to battles. Battles. Star Trek. What was this? Romulan VSF after Dom War. And then we name it the Dodera Dex. So that's what it is. Ablative is a rarity. At some point they started making it standard on the Defiant, though that was after, that was either towards the end or after the Dominion War. Yeah, I heard the E had ablative as well, but I could never find anything that confirms that. That's why I don't say it has it, because I have no evidence. This thing eats memory and RAM, man. Dude, I can't even tell you guys. And when I do the Federation ships, I'm gonna have to do 5 different Federation ships, and I'm just gonna go to bed, because that's gonna be an hour's worth of work right there. The rendering is just stupid. I've never really given it thought, but how would the Federation even fight a war? Don't the ships have like stupid levels autonomy? How would they be gathered for a fight? I don't understand the question, Padrick. I'm sorry. Podrick. Yeah, because they're a small, powerful destroyer-class vessel. Putting that much ion in a large ship would... Oh my god! That was loud. Voyager in-game armor was pretty big. Yeah, so I looked up the Voyager because I wanted to make sure that I could either that I had to include it or that I didn't, and that happened later, so it's not going to be included. All right, gents, let's see how this goes. I honestly am not sure how it's going to react. Oh, I got to check my memory too, because I always run out of memory. There's one thing you can be sure of. Yeah, I don't got any memory at all. I'm glad I checked that before, because then it would have been like, you just wasted 30 minutes of your life and you don't have enough memory to complete any of it. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Chili's, baby back ribs. Chili's, baby back rib, barbecue sauce. Chili, baby back rib. Oh, whoops. Chili's, baby back ribs. Alright, give me a second, guys. I'm just checking through here to make sure everything's gone. Going down, down. I need to get an external drive. Could always start a GoFundMe, because I'm sure that would go well. Hey guys, buy me free stuff. Oh. Yeah, that's a problem. Let's restore that, and then where's the other one? Oh, come on. I brought it back. Lacy. Grumble. Alright, hold on, guys. Baby back trails. Barbecue sauce. With all the time travel episodes, which timeline is the prime one? I don't know. So how about an updated Dreadnought from the Darkness versus the Scimitar from the Nemesis? By the way, I'm joking. No, I don't give me any of your money. This was before the... Yeah, I put it in before the Federation. Tellarites. It's right there. Why are you acting like it doesn't exist? Okay. Well, that's the definition of frustrating. Oh, whoops. Cancel. Leia! Transform. Scale. Okay, let's see how that looks. Looks good, looks good. Looks good. Looks. Love it. Alright, render. Let's do it to it. Alright, now we play the waiting game. '21st century humans versus Klingons would be Klingons would win, though we'd probably kill us and them at the same time. Mr. Lawn, get inside my belly. Y'all are some weird people. Some weird people. Every time I hear the jingle, I think Austin Power. Can you guys hear that jingle? Yeah, you guys shouldn't be able to hear anything on my side because my computer makes noises. It's just so loud. Oh my god. Frustratingly so. Chilling. 21st century versus 20th Klingons and humans. Yeah, I agree, Max. 21st century humans versus 21st century Klingons. Humans win. Humans were a lot more organized. Klingons were very... they were more interested in killing each other and pretending that it's honorable. Are you going to do any B5 soon, Epic 00? I am, in fact. Babylon 5, I've never really been all that interested in it until I started watching Lore Runners reviews, and so I will. Honestly, though, all of this takes time. Everybody wants the Star Trek, right? That's my bread and butter. That's what people want to watch. So that's what I'm going to. That's going to be a lot of the mainstay. But Tuesdays and Thursdays is generally when I do the other types of lore and stuff, and I'm gonna start adding Babylon 5 to that. I'd also like to see a Klingon world where the Herc didn't invade. That'd be interesting. Though there's a lot of... The Herc added a lot of diversity to the Klingons. Some say that's how they got their warp technology, though I don't see any evidence for that. I think that's interesting. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it here and let this thing get done. But before I do, any questions? Anybody want to see anything? Anybody watching this that isn't subscribed? Because you got to be subscribed to this channel. Who wouldn't want to be subscribed to this channel, right? Who wouldn't want to be? Oh, look, someone did a comment calling me fat. I've never seen that before. Never seen that before at all. Do more Star Wars? Night Podrick. I'd love to do more Star Wars. I really love Star Wars. I love it as much as I love Star Trek. It's so many channels do it though. It's just not as interesting a conversation. This channel is meant to have a conversation, and if people don't talk about what we're talking about, or don't want to talk on the channels, and there's not a lot to do it. Again, it has to be a discussion. Cool, good luck, and thanks for the answers, and yes, subscribe and watch your hard work daily. Stovacore, going to get a dance, even if you're already subscribed? Alright, guys. In December, YouTube will be full of Star Wars content. Yeah, Brandon G. Oh, man, it's going to be bad. I'll probably do Star Wars content there, not because of the movie, but because people want it, and it's fun to do. I do have phaser props, believe it or not. I even have I have Star Wars props too. Look at that. You could use that in the movies. That's movie quality right there. All right, guys, we are gonna. Oh, I'm gonna do something on the Prime Directive as well. Yep. All right, guys, we are gonna end it there. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. This will be out tomorrow, so stay tuned. It's gonna be epic. Who's gonna win, Romulans or Starfleet? Because I'm sure I'm gonna get about 600 comments about how I'm wrong, no matter who I choose. No matter who wins, I lose.